Let's solve the American math problem. What is the American math problem? There's several layers to this. Whether you're talking about math fluency, the fact that American students are not doing as well when we look at their performance on understanding fractions or number theory, or if we're talking about the fact that we have people learning fractions for 4 years in a row, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. There are a lot of issues with the American math curriculum, the American math system, the whole structure. And so that's a separate video that we can look at later. Or here's an easier way to deal with this. I've written a book called Tools for Mastering Mathematics. You can have this book for free if you visit amosthemathguy.com, or if you email me at amosthemathguy@gmail.com. I'll give you the book. You can look at more of what the problems are and some of the suggestions for solutions. But in this video, I'm going to tell you that we have a distinct solution to the American math problem, a very distinct solution. What is the solution, and how can I say that like this? Well, I've done math curriculum work for about 12 years now, and I have taken almost every publisher I see that writes books. I want to look at their books. So I've looked at tons of books for every grade level from kindergarten to 12th grade. I've studied other countries. I grew up in Nigeria, so I can share with you my experience as well. And here's what I have concluded. We need to do away with the grade-based learning of mathematics and move towards a mastery-based model, such as the one called Counting to Calculus. That's an approach and a framework that I've designed, but what I talk about is basically what Singapore does, what India does, what Nigeria does. And so I'm going to tell you what Singapore does. I'm going to tell you what Nigeria does, and then I'm going to show you a resource that can help you help your child. Every child in America can do calculus and flourish. Every child. We can help every child to do calculus. Now, I'm not saying that they will be doing calculus 2, and I'm not saying that they're going to master the concepts in calculus like they master concepts maybe in basic arithmetic, but at least they can do it. They can hopefully follow the process, and they can finish the class and say goodbye if they don't want to do any more math. One thing I will say is that America's math problem cannot just be solved by a curriculum switch. You also have to deal with other problems, such as study skills, which is lacking greatly in American schools. How do I know this? Well, I've taught in a few schools, I've helped out in many schools, and I've seen that taking notes, for example, is not required of students. That needs to be required. That is required of students in Singapore and Nigeria and India. But it's not required of students in America, and yet students in America are not doing as well academically, so maybe there's a correlation. Maybe study skills can help. Yes, they can. So we need to deal with study skills. We need to deal with career preparation and helping people know where they're headed, because sometimes, well, actually, when you know where you're going, you tend to put in the extra work if you need to, because you know where you're going. We have a lot of middle school and high school students in America, the majority of them actually, who don't know what they want to do with their lives. Could that be a good thing? In one sense, yeah, maybe, but no, it's not a good thing. We need to help people have direction. They need to know where they're going. And so my solution deals with the problem of mastery. It also deals with the problem of study skills, and it deals with the problem of career preparation, all in one, because math has applications. What is the solution to America's math curriculum? Counting to calculus. And why is this a solution? I'll explain. This is the counting, the base, and then you go up: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, exponents, percents, algebra, geometry, trig, and calculus. If every child knows that this is what they're aspiring for, if they know this is what I'm trying to get to, it changes the game. Right now, we have students who are told they don't need to take calculus. That's a very bad idea. As a matter of fact, only about 20% of Americans take calculus. This is not good. America needs to do more math, not less. And we've bought into certain ideologies that are destroying the math foundation of many students. Why wouldn't we require calculus when we're teaching the students algebra in the first place? If you're teaching them skills in algebra that are very relevant for calculus, but you never give them the opportunity to get to calculus to see how calculus can be used, then why are you teaching them the algebra? Well, because of the way math can teach them how to think and so on and so forth. Well, why not go all the way to the destination where they can see it all come together? So I believe we need to teach math and chemistry and physics and engineering and like show the applications of math in all those fields. That would be very helpful to students. If you'd like to order a copy of this book, by the way, you can find it on Amazon. You can order it through our bookstore. You can order the books that are discussed, like an arithmetic book and a book on pre-algebra and algebra. You could do that too, that's fine. The idea is we need students to see where they're headed. And for every one of my students, calculus, statistics, discrete mathematics, and linear algebra, that's where they're headed. That's the base. I think everybody should have that base. And then they can decide what they want to do beyond that. If they want to become physicists, then of course they need to do Calc 2, Calc 3, differential equations, and more. And so in this video, I just wanted to share briefly with you the solution to the American math curriculum crisis. I call it a crisis partly because we have too many students who are in 8th grade who have not mastered the fundamentals of mathematics, and therefore we're losing too many students. Someone made a good point yesterday and said we're losing them in 3rd grade even sometimes. And so we need to help every child to learn math well, because math is beautiful. I want to see every child explore and grow in calculus. So I want to see calculus for all, and if people do calculus, there's almost no limit to what field of study they can go into. Now, is this a very simplistic explanation, or do I have some examples? Yes, I do. In Singapore, in 10th grade, if you take regular math, you learn a lot of math that is from the different branches we talk about in America, algebra, geometry, and so on. Same thing with Nigeria. Singapore and Nigeria are very similar. But then you can do something called additional math in 10th grade. While you're taking regular math, this is foreign to Americans, but this is what America actually needs. While you're taking regular math, you're also taking this additional math, which sometimes is helping to reinforce the things you're learning. Like you're learning these skills and now you're using them in this additional math class. There's connectivity of topics. It's a great way to learn. And there's a book that talks about this too, actually. It's a strategy of super learning. So when you take additional math in 10th grade in Singapore, so the kids who are in 10th grade in Singapore who are doing additional math, if you put them in the same classroom with the 10th grader in America, that kid in Singapore is way more advanced than that kid in 10th grade in America. That's not a good thing. 50% of American students drop out of engineering school, and one of the reasons they found is because of a lack of preparation in the K-12 space. Could we maybe look at the math expectations and goals in the K-12 space and look at what some of these other countries are doing, and then look at what some of these people do from Nigeria, India, and so on. When they come to America and go to engineering school, are they dropping out at the same rate as the American students? Not at all. As a matter of fact, I mean, now you could argue that, oh, they're bringing the cream of the crop to America, and that's why. And I'm going to tell you for sure that's not true. There are a lot of average students who come from Nigeria, average students. They were not the best in academics. And I know many students who have come who were not the best of the best, but they came here and they did just fine, right? So clearly the K-12 math preparation in Nigeria and Singapore is much better and allows students to actually thrive in the universities when they come here. The K-12 math in America is weak and it's not allowing students to flourish in engineering school. So what is the solution to America's math curriculum? Everybody should aspire for calculus as soon as possible. I help students get to calculus in as early as 10th grade, 9th grade. I can get you to calculus so that you can do Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, linear algebra, differential equations, statistics, and discrete math before you graduate high school. And so it is very important that we help students to learn that they need to aspire for calculus. Stop believing what America is saying. That's the other thing you need to do. If you want to flourish in math and in university, don't follow the American thing of, oh, 7th grade, you only need to do this, you only need to do pre-algebra. If you've mastered fractions, decimals, and percents, why are you doing pre-algebra again in 7th grade? You should be doing algebra. There's just so much repetition that we're burning out. Some kids are burning out. And we need to stop that by focusing on mastery and building, right? So we look at Singapore, we look at India, we look at Nigeria, we see what's going on, and we say, how do we replicate some of that in America? Well, you've heard of Singapore math, right? They write these books called Singapore Math. And Singapore Math is a great curriculum. It teaches the kids to think and do well. But in America, you only see it for kindergarten to 6th grade or pre-K to 6th grade. And you say, where is the 7th to 12th grade for Singapore Math? It exists. It's just different because the Singaporean system is similar to the British system, which is different from the American system. I'll be talking about some of that at a webinar I'm doing on Saturday on Zoom, 5 a.m. American time. It's kind of early, but 11 a.m. British time. And so what I would say, though, is I'll make more videos on this. So please feel free to subscribe and follow my journey on this discussion. But what we're going to do is we're going to break down the Singaporean math curriculum from 7th grade and up. And part of what you see is that from 7th to 10th grade in Singapore is considered like their high school. And then they have this extra 11th and 12th grade, almost like an A levels, where you focus on only a few subjects, right? Kind of like the British system with the IGCSE. That's another day's topic. But for now, here's what I'm going to say. If you get your child on the track from counting to calculus, if you do that, your child will be one of the best in math in their school. I would encourage you to do that. Don't take summers off. Do a little bit of math at a time, and your child will flourish and be one of the best in their schools. I guarantee you that. And if there are schools that are interested in this resource, I have them also, and I can provide it to your school as well as the training on how to use these resources. Take care, subscribe for more, and have a blessed day.